Warming up for beginners. This course is designed to help prep you for all of the vocal work that we're going to be doing moving forward. In the beginning, it's important that we build up your foundation to make sure that everything is nice and stable so that when you're learning these things here at Extreme Vocal Institute, you don't accidentally pinch something or work too hard or pull something while vocalizing. Because it's much better to get this stuff right from the get-go instead of accidentally learning something wrong and having to backtrack and relearn, or backtrack and have to undo things before you can move forward. Now, one question some of you may be asking at home, and I hear a lot, is, why should I warm up? I'm feeling good, why can't I just go do my thing? Especially when people have been doing this for a certain amount of time, it becomes easy to start letting go of these important things and start to try and push forward without this type of regular routine maintenance. It's very important to keep on top of these sort of things because, like preparing for any sort of physical activity, you need to get your body ready for what's about to happen. When you don't, the body essentially braces for impact in the moment and locks up more than it normally would, say if you were warming up. So, if you don't warm up, you're actually spending way more time working against yourself than you are helping yourself to create sound. More detail here, the way the body works and the way blood flow and oxygen works, you need to make sure you have enough of those things within certain muscle groups to be able to just start using them and have things start to operate at a higher level and start to work faster or harder than they were previously. And without enough blood and without enough oxygen, everything's not going to be able to operate efficiently or operate correctly. And that's when parts of the body won't react appropriately to what you're doing. They won't react in a timely fashion. There'll be a little bit of a delay, or like I mentioned, things will just fight you. So warming up is crucial. When you do warm up, it helps to soothe everything in the voice. It helps to soothe all of these different muscles and structures that we're using to create sound. And the different structures we're creating and the way we're changing shapes for metal vocals specifically are very complex. And even though it is, in the long run, easy for anyone to be able to make these sounds with the right kind of discipline, that doesn't mean it isn't a very complex thing and that there aren't a lot of different moving parts. So you want to make sure these moving parts are able to move fluidly and when you tell them to. So warming up will help make sure that you're able to walk into the practice room, get on stage, or walk into the vocal booth to record and know that you'll be operating at the level that you know you can. Now, the amount of time that you spend warming up varies depending on where you're at in your development and what you're doing at the moment. In the beginning, it's very important to warm up a lot. Most of what I'm going to be having you do here is predominantly warm up based for the first little while until we start getting these sounds more comfortable with the body, until you start to adapt to what we're doing here. Once that happens, then the focus kind of shifts and we're going to have you working on other things and adding other steps to the process while still warming up every time we go to make sound, but not just solely working on warm-ups and that's all. Now, say you're a touring artist, you're out there doing your thing. Depending on where you're at in a tour, you may want to practice more or practice less, depending on how many days in a row you've been going. If you're in the studio and you need to vocalize for, instead of maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe you need to vocalize for 2, 3, 4 hours, maybe the whole day, you need to warm up differently and periodically throughout the day to make sure you're able to do your job for the amount of time that you're there doing it. At practices, you don't want to overdo things because it's just a rehearsal, so you don't want to warm up too much. There is such a thing as warming up excessively as well, where you don't want to just do nothing, but you don't want to be too concerned either and spend too much of your focus warming up to the point where you're totally out of steam by the time it's time to get to work that day. So making sure you're adjusting your warm-up time depending on the activity is super important. Now, we have here at extremevocalinstitute.com many different warm-ups filmed for you guys, so go over and head over to that area now to check out all of the different warm-ups we're going to have you be doing, and whenever I instruct you to do something new, go ahead and find that in your voice type over in that section.